What's up, all you cool cats and kittens?
Is it recording right now?
Yeah, it's recording now.
Wow.
Welcome to the Dudes Being Guys podcast, where we talk about, just dude shit, dudes being guys. We really cover everything.
We're going to speak on self-awareness today, people. And so, we're definitely going to be giving our opinions on that, but we also want to base the things that we're saying in facts. We live in a time right now where there's a lot of alternative facts floating around. There's a lot of things like, I guess people like to call fake news, and we don't want to serve any of that on our platform. So we're going to try and make sure that we at least, give you guys a perspective that's rooted in, something logical and something real.
So you said we're going to be talking about self-awareness.
Yes, sir.
Now when you say self-awareness is a pretty broad spectrum.
Yes.
What's like the true definition of self-awareness?
Perfect. Okay. So I was going to ask that. So we'll start off with the definition. So the actual definition of self-awareness is going to be conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires.
Cool. I love that.
So the way that I just heard that, it's like at the end of the day, it's just being real about what you want in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't.
Essentially, yeah, pretty much. It's just being able to acknowledge how you feel about something, why you feel about that thing that way, and kind of just being able to acknowledge certain things and why you do them.
I agree.
As well,
I was gonna say, and also I wanted to kind of like speak on this year, sort of. I'll frame mine of how self-awareness has kind of made a huge play in my life as far as 2020 is going. I feel like we all have probably had a crazy year. Whether it's been crazy good, crazy bad, we probably all had a crazy year. I just feel like self-awareness for me has personified itself through action. And by action, I don't necessarily mean my action. It might be the actions of other people. Just seeing things that people do for what they are, what they really might be mean. It's kind of like looking past what they're saying and seeing the intents of what's actually being said. So self-awareness for me, at least in 2020, has really been about having my ears open, my eyes open, and just really taking in my surroundings and listening to what people are saying.
Definitely.
I'm kind of stuck on the whole self-awareness.
Well, I mean,
it's just like I feel like there is no right answer, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of different things that come along with being self-aware.
but that's why I see, like, that's why friends of mine kind of, if you think about it,
Is it
this
kind of
way,
I forgot where I was going.
It's just like a little bit of everything. So like literally
knowing who you are.
Yes, like literally
Gotcha.
down to like, why do I like this specific kind of girl?
even just like what you
Like,
want out of life,
yeah.
your goals.
Yeah, literally. You know what I'm saying? And it's like also just being like comfortable with certain things about yourself. You know?
Or not, because self-awareness
Or not,
is
yeah.
like, even if you know you're slacking. Like, we had a conversation before about making sure that we were holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
That's the same thing about being self-aware. At the end of the day, those ideas that you were kind of
Keep you grounded,
going off
you know?
of there.
So here's what we can talk about. We can talk about confidence. So I feel like a lot of people
Yeah, it's definitely confidence.
lack confidence in like
Agreed.
many different aspects, whether it's just like how you handle yourself, the way you talk to people, or just like going into like a job interview. Like a lot of people lack confidence just in themselves.
Agreed.
And why do you think that? Why do you think people lack confidence like that?
Well, I mean, I definitely feel like that is built in by society. I mean, I feel like the culture, and I'll speak more specifically for an Americanized culture, because European people are actually very different than American people in their ideology. So at least if you've grown up in the Americas, I feel like a lot of your identity sometimes is not based on yourself. I feel like our society has set it up like, if you think about your adolescence, as much as you're trying to like be your own person, so to speak, like I feel like you're screaming about that in your adolescence, you're still trying to fit in, you're still trying to like go with the crowd. And so I feel like that makes your confidence a lot of the times based on other people. It's not really rooted in what you're doing for yourself. So therefore, I feel like that makes it hard for some people to actually gain satisfaction out of things that they're doing that are actually good things, that are actually things that they should be proud of. I feel like it's because even if you're validating it yourself, but truly you're more accepting of the validation from the other people that you're getting, if you're really more or less looking for that, then the validation you give yourself, you're going to be disappointed a lot of the times, because a lot of times, like we know in real life, people don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think that could like just be people that are just like codependent.
I mean, in a way.
Yeah, because like it's just like they feel like they need a validation from somewhere else, whether it be from one individual person or just like a group of people.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like there's like stages of that. Because I feel like during high school it could be just like you wanted to be like the popular person and just like be like in the mix all the time.
I think
and
it
then
starts
like
there.
and then like it'll just like lead up to like a relationship where like in a relationship, if you feel like your significant other like leaves you, it's just like, oh my god, it's like the end of the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what do I even do after that? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's just like also just like a part of it that just holds people back, because there's just like the lack of self-love.
Do you think social media has to do with most of like people's confidence issues?
I would definitely like so? I would give some credit to social media to that for sure. But I think it's just like I think a lot of it is just what people make it out to be, you know, because it's just like the glass is either half full or it's half empty kind of thing, you know. So like you either take it for what it is, or you get caught up in like.
See, that's the problem. Most people get caught up because, like, obviously no one's posting their failures on Instagram. No one's tweeting their bad days. No one's doing. Well, I mean, some people are tweeting their bad days, but that's.
I was gonna say maybe they're not posting their bad days on Instagram, but they're tweeting them.
But that's to get the attention of people. They want people to feel sorry for them for some reason. But I don't know. I just feel like, especially for like Instagram, you know. You always see people like, I just did this, just did that, just look at my relationship, look at this, look at that, look at that, and like, and if you're like struggling in a way, like mentally, and then you see all these other people comparing. It's very easy to compare yourself, especially like when you're looking through Instagram, especially like if you don't have a girlfriend, you see, like we're getting around the holidays, so you're gonna see a lot of people posting pictures with their boyfriend, girlfriend, so then and now if you're alone. And you have that confidence issue of just like, damn, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. You're gonna start comparing yourself, and you're gonna be like, damn, dude.
And that's
well, I hate that for people.
Yeah,
though,
and that's a real thing though too. Like people are genuinely like scared as fuck to be like alone. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's natural for human beings.
Oh no, definitely.
As much as they want to say that.
And I feel like that's why living on your own, like away from like what you know, like going to like a different state and like literally starting like from scratch. Is like, I feel like something that a lot of people could get a lot of benefit out of it. Like a lot of growth can come from that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's why that's a huge reason as to why I want to move to LA as well. It's just like a personal challenge, along with like obviously like the huge upside of the real estate and the connections and shit like that. It's most of it is just like really me wanting to like prove something to myself. Really, you know, it's just
you
like
should always branch out though.
Yeah, it's just like I want to like prove to myself that like I can fend for myself and I can make shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not. I don't want to always feel like, cause even like now, I have like my car insurance is like under my dad and shit, and it's just like certain things that like still irk me. That I'm just like
I'm gonna do this for myself.
Like I need to just like completely branch off from depending on anybody and just really be on my own and just be like, all right, dude, this is sink or swim, do or die. If you fuck this up, like it's gonna really suck.
You just said, like, it's good though because you're not really doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for yourself. So it's just like when you finally do those things, like. As far as like us talking about confidence and people and everything,
it's just scary.
It's going to be something though that you're going to fully be able to enjoy yourself because you're not trying to necessarily keep up with the Joneses. So to speak. It's just something you're doing to like push yourself. And I feel like with what you're talking about with social media, pretty much, I feel like it's not even 50-50. I'll give it like 80-20, and that's me being nice, because I'm personally just the type of person personally. So this is opinion, of course. I try to hold people majority accountable for the things that they do. At the end of the day, you do not. There's oddly enough, I know plenty of people that don't have social medias.
I don't have a Twitter.
Look, he doesn't have a Twitter. I have a Twitter and an Instagram and a Facebook. I barely use the Facebook. I feel like I have everything that I'm supposed to have. Like I have a Snapchat that I haven't used
Same,
in a million months.
Fuck with Snapchat.
Yeah, you
Snapchat.
But the thing about it is though that nobody forces you to get on these apps. I feel like, of course, you cannot ignore the fact that they build it in such a way that it's going to make you want to come back. And plus, on top of that,
everyone's nosy as fuck, and they want to.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, on top of that, our society makes it in such a way. Of course, these people are posting their lives, like you said. So nosy. Well, you're posting your life. What's going on in your life, whether it's real or fake. But I think with that reality, because I feel like that's something that you have to acknowledge. You know, when you're using social media, you do know that some shit is fake, some shit is real,
some shit is
and you know that. Kind of like you're saying, a lot of it might be fake. So don't be the person to build yourself up on fake ideas, because at the end of the day,
or others' ideas, period.
Well, at the end of the day, you're consuming something that's meant for you to consume. So of course, it's going to be built in a way that is attractive regardless. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But as a consumer, because now we're talking on a basic level about consumption. As a consumer, either you call bullshit or you're like, no, this shake weight, I'm going to get ripped off of a shake weight. It's the same idea. Plenty of people bought shake weights. The person that created shake weights made millions of dollars. But plenty of people saw a shake weight and were like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, it's definitely fake. I mean, you look at like half of these like Instagram girls, or they got like 1 million followers, they got 500,000 followers, they pop in on the gram, they're around all these celebrities, but really they live in like some shithole place in LA on an air mattress with like 15 other girls. But just because I'm right too.
It sounds like a brothel.
That's how it really be over there though.
No, yeah.
So but like going back, like you want to move to like LA and all that stuff. It does take like a certain type of confidence, because like LA is home of the fake tits and real assholes.
Honestly though,
but that's why you have to keep your self-awareness.
But like speaking of LA, like that's where like most people go to like make it big. And like when you're there, you do see Lambos driving down the street all the time. And like to the people that live there, that's kind of just like the normal everyday stuff. So like going there with nothing, it is kind of you do have to. It is intimidating. So I feel like you really got to go there with some confidence and know yourself, because like
self-awareness. Because I feel like you lose your self-awareness in a place like LA.
Oh hell yeah!
And honestly, funny enough, what you just said about like LA being like a specific kind of place, like. There's like certain like YouTubers that I watch that are like from LA, that are from like California, some LA, some like other areas, like just other areas. But they all really say that like if you really meet people from LA that are like natives, from Cali, that they actually are pretty dope. But it's like the people that you end up running into that are not from there,
the immigrants,
that are like the people that you're describing, because they're all coming with that like damn near stereotype of people that they're gonna be running into. So they're already getting there with like that energy. So that's how they move pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So like you have so many people coming in with that energy that you end up meeting a lot of those people that like are just like on that energy, because
there's a lot of fake people there.
Yeah,
everyone's there for themselves. Which I mean, at the end of the day, can you really blame someone for being there but for themselves? It's what they went there for. They went there to make it. So I mean, they're gonna try to get things 100%. Out of you.
It's like New York City,
Yeah. So I heard it's very hard to find like genuine connections with people.
And I'm sure it will be, but I feel like it's difficult anywhere, but maybe more difficult there, I'm sure. But that's also, I feel like even like that in itself is like a challenge, like to me, it's just like, okay, well, like whenever I do find those people, it's gonna feel even that much better. It's just gonna be like that much better when I'm like, yo, I really fuck with these people, and then it's been like 6, 7, 8 years, and then it's just like, yo, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, like these were some dope ass people, But and even if it's just like 2 people, and that's it, and that's just like what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's just like being
real connections.
Yeah, real connections, and just being grateful as well. You know, because people can get caught up in just like a lot of shit.
But that's why.
And that's just like people like perspective. You know,
you have to
sure.
and look, and they like self-awareness because at the end of the day, I feel like if you're just the type of person that, and I feel like a lot of people are intimidated to be this way because it's not necessarily what makes you approachable. But if you're the type of person that if you have a thought process or if you have a feeling, whatever the case may be, however you want to categorize it, and you stand on that, or how we say, you know, in these days, you know, stand 10 toes down on something, like, if you do that, a lot of people are intimidated by that, and a lot of people get frustrated by that, because I feel like people want a lot to change your mind. They want to get you on board with whatever it is that they're doing a lot of the times, especially in a situation where you're a person that's new somewhere or you've just moved to a whole nother state, like LA especially. I feel like you're going to be the type of person that they're like, well, let me see, you're new, they're going to want to push your buttons, they're going to, whoa, let me see what I can do, let me see if I can, you know, lead you by the nose into some shit. So, and I feel like the majority of people fall into that, to the point, I guess, of what we're saying about social media. But I feel like that in and of itself, we can't necessarily blame those people. That's just a lack of self-awareness, I feel like, on the other person's part, in that, just like how you're able to sit here and be like, you know, I know there might be some fake shit waiting for me in LA. A lot of people will go to LA and be like, oh my god, this is going to be the best thing ever, and nothing bad ever is going to happen. Like, nah,
just lay back, chill LA, you know?
That's not realistic.
That's why most of the people end up homeless.
Well,
that's why the homeless
at the end of the day, you're not living in reality, and then reality hits you like.
Shit over there was ridiculous. When I was there, that shit was nuts. The amount of homeless people.
And it can be like normal ass people too. Like it's not even like the homeless people, like the stereotypical homeless guy walking down the street. Like girl that you're talking to at like some coffee shop, she could live in her car.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that, because, like, you know, especially like coming from like say like one of us were to move there, we're not going to be on the street necessarily. Like if we have to live in our car, we're still going to try. Like, and no one wants to like come up and say that, because then that puts yourself down. So then, you know, like you don't want other people to look at you like, oh, he's homeless, he's this, he's that.
Well,
so
that's a fact.
You don't want
it's
to
kind of like one of those things you sweep under the rug,
yeah.
and like a lot of people, like, they live in people's closets.
Yeah, honestly though. But it's just like, that's just like the grind, you know what I'm saying? And that's just like something that I feel like most people aren't even willing to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people get caught up in just being comfortable. And that's also like, I feel like that also falls into just like self-awareness. Like, you have to acknowledge when you're getting comfortable, when you're not doing what,
Staying stagnant.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You know, like, because that's where I feel like a lot of people get caught up. Like, they're just, oh, you know what, like, we're just gonna settle down here, you know, my family's here, I've lived through all my life, I mean, I might as well stay here.
See that?
You know, but deep
like
down,
blows my mind.
Deep down though, they're just like, man, if I could fucking move to wherever the fuck, I'd fucking move there in a heartbeat. And they probably got like enough money to move, but they're just not willing to like struggle for a bit to be where they want to be, because they're just like, I'm not really struggling, or maybe it could be worse, and I'm just not really trying to do that. And they're just like, I guess I'll just live this life, because if I was meant to have money, I would have been born into having money, or if something will come, something's just gonna come, and I'm just, you know, it's like, I'm gonna hit the fucking lotto, if anything, you know? Right. And it's just like, no, no, the fuck you're not. That's not how this shit works, man.
They might as well take a chance, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
one thing I will say, at least on the topic of self-awareness, even the definition talks about desires. I feel like that's another thing, is people desire other people's things. You can't base your dreams off of someone else's dreams. We have a culture right now that's like, oh, relationship goals, oh, house goals, oh, car, oh, job goals. Whose goals? Their goals? They reach their goal. You're watching them reach their goal. Even if it's through a filter, I mean, they did it. You didn't do that, but you want what they have. And this is me bringing in my own personal thought process about things. It's like, to me, on a spiritual level, when you're asking to take on something that someone else has, you're also taking on their struggle. At the end of the day, if you look at somebody in a way and you're just like, I want what they have, you don't know what it took to get them to where they got. But you're so envious, or you're so wanting to be in their spot, you're just seeing the product of their struggle, or whatever it may have been.
The end result.
You're seeing the end result, and you're like, I want that. But at the end of the day, you don't know what you're asking for you to go through in your life. And then when you start struggling and you feel like things aren't working out, it's because at the end of the day, you're putting your eyesight on something that was meant for somebody else. You need to be able to figure out what you desire, not what you think you desire because this looks nice from somebody else.
Or even if you do desire it, back to like what he said, like it's just like they're not showing you the failures. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not showing you what you just said, like the struggle. Then they're not taking selfies in their car because that's where they sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not posting that shit. They're gonna fucking post a picture later on when they're out and about and they're maybe at a nice place, and then they're gonna post a picture or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you can't lie to yourself at the end of the day. And it's just, even if you do want that, whatever the fuck you saw that somebody has, you know, whether it be a car or a job or whatever the fuck, you have to realize that it's a process and that there's things that you're gonna have to do to get there.
And laying there on your bed staring at your phone like, oh, I wish I had this, isn't gonna get it to you any faster.
Yeah.
That's what most people do. They want to sit there and complain about it like, oh, I want that. I mean, you can want anything. But like a dream without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah. But see, this is why I don't blame people for using social media platforms for what they're for. For instance, on Instagram. Okay, you just bought a Benz and you post that you got a Benz, but you didn't post the fact that you had to work however many straight doubles, blah blah blah, to make sure you secured the money to get your Benz, XYZ. No. I don't think that's the problem, and this is why I just feel like the problem is the people. At the end of the day, I feel like people want to put so much weight and responsibility on these third parties when you're the first party. At the end of the day, the fact that what it comes down to is you want to create a certain reality for yourself, because that's what social media allows you to do. It allows you to create a reality that people see you through, and it allows you to exist through a certain lens. There's people who have their social media platform, and then they have like things what are called a burner account. There's regular average people who I guess in everyday life are considered normal people, who have things like burner accounts where they'll go and they'll just bother people, or they'll be fucking trolls. So that just goes, at least for me, I feel like that just goes to show you that people have a desire innately to live outside of whatever their reality is, whether it's good or bad, because people like to even, I mean, when you look at, I guess, what pop culture does as far as like self-awareness, like when you have like white kids who are interested in like, I guess, things that are stereotypical hip-hop culture and violence and things like that, that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's not their thing, so I'm interested in it. It's just like when you tell a kid they can't have something, well, now they really, really, really want it. So I think you have to, with anything, to me, I feel like I look at the root, and I feel like the root is the people. At the end of the day, I have to talk shit about myself when I exit out of Instagram and immediately go right back to Instagram and don't realize that I just did that, and I fully intended to not go back to Instagram.
Yeah.
That's not Instagram's fault. At the end of the day,
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Have self-control. Just put your phone down, and I can do that. So that just goes to show you that you have ultimately the control in what you're consuming. You ultimately have the control of how you're feeling, unless otherwise medically you're unable to. But the average person, if we're speaking about, you have the ability to be in control of your own
Think for yourself. Think for yourself.
So when you let that, at least what you're saying, right? Thinking for yourself. When you let that go, when you allow your phone to start thinking for you, when you allow Instagram to start thinking for you,
or others, period,
you're lost. I'll look at it like this. I'm a person, I love music. I'm always watching music reaction videos. And I was saying to myself this one time, I was like, couldn't decide if I liked the song, and I felt like that was really weird. And I was almost like waiting to see what the other person on the reaction video was like. Do they like this song? Maybe if they like it, I'll like it. And I was having that reflective moment within myself, and I was saying, that's crazy. Like, at the end of the day, I should be able to figure out if I like this music. You know what I mean? It shouldn't take for me to see a couple other people like.
But I don't know. Cause sometimes that's what it takes. Have you ever like a song comes out, you listen to it, and you're just kind of like, meh. So then, you know, time goes on, you go to the club. You go to the club. Song comes on at the club. You're like, okay.
But see, then I've always.
But then you go over to someone else's house, and then they're listening to it, and you're like, okay. Because like that's happened to me multiple times. Where I've listened to a song and just been like, yeah, it's all right. And then you know you go somewhere, there's a little bit more of a thump.
Okay, so the real question is, when you go home by yourself though, do you play it?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it just takes that like.
I don't know. Well, this is now though, because what you're saying is right. I feel like I used to feel like, oh, a song might have to grow on me, but recently I felt like in hearing a shitty song, right, but it had that potential where I was like, oh, this is, of course, it's repetitive, it's got a good beat, you can learn the words the first time you listen to it, so it's the perfect type of song to be like, oh, whatever. But it was genuinely a shitty song, and I'm just like,
I mean, there's a lot of songs that are shitty.
Yeah,
songs,
but
listen to it like the lyrics.
But that's the thing where I was like, I'm not. I was like, I'm not going to allow this song to grow on me. That was my point. That's like, I was like, nah, I'm not even going to let this song penetrate my brain, because I could admit to the fact that if I listen to it like a couple more times, even though I genuinely don't like the song, it's the type of song where now I'm singing the lyrics.
See, it's kind of like
and I hate that.
So when 6ix9ine first came out,
subconscious.
First of all, this one first came out before he did all that other shit. When he first came, out, you know, I was like, man, this motherfucker, I can't listen to this. He's just screaming out here. They're like, no, that's hard. And I was like, no, fuck that. That shit's whack. So I went to this hookah bar, and you know, I'm just chilling there. Then one of the songs comes on, a little more thump this time from me just listening to it in my house. Now I'm just like, this is kind of hard. Like, I'm with a whole bunch of people, you know, they're just and I'm just like, you know what? This kind of dope.
I like this.
This kind of dope. But I honestly though, I didn't go back home and listen to it. It was one of those like when you're out.
Yeah.
It hit at the.
But it's one of those.
Differently.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, like I won't listen to it like myself, but like if it comes on, like I'll watch it like a show, like. I'm not gonna put it on, but I mean, if somebody's watching, if it's on TV, I guess I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. No, for real though. Like,
no, but it's funny that y'all are saying this, because that's how social media works. Because it's what you're doing when you're. I feel like most people are using social media in their like downtime when it's like, what the fuck is there to do? And you're just.
Is it kind of like chick flicks though? Because I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is just dudes being guys right now.
Yo, shut the fuck up.
This is just dudes being guys right now. But all right, so some of these chick flicks, dogs, they're not bad movies. I'm not gonna. Now, am I gonna sit in my house by myself, you know, just before I go to sleep, turn on The Notebook? No, I'm not gonna do that. Why? Because
sometimes I will. I don't give a fuck.
I've watched The Notebook with you. I've never watched it by myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like if you know, if you got some girls over, or
I watched it with my family.
Yeah, but all right. So there's girls in the room. You know, you got your girl, you got your side chick. Well, I don't know your situation or anything. All right, so we're back. So the camera cut off. What I was saying is that Edwin does not have a side chick. I was just kind of just saying that in the general station, general whatever it's called. I just so happened to look at him. He does not have a side chick. He has a very committed girlfriend. But where I was going is some of these movies are actually really good. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're with your boys and you're just chilling, are you gonna be like, "Yeah, dog, watched The Notebook the other day. Great movie. You guys should watch." No,
that's the toxic masculinity joke.
What? I was gonna say I'm with the shits. I don't give a fuck. I'll talk about it.
What are you with? Like, because he said about talking about it.
Like, I'll talk about it.
Talking about it or watching it?
No, like I'll talk about it and I'll watch it.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Because I watched it with just like my little brother. Because I just like the movie and he likes the movie.
I've seen it.
No, I'm not gonna. Man, if you tell me to come chill.
You ever watch Twilight?
If you're like, yo, Nick, come chill, and out of nowhere you put on Twilight, I'm gonna be like,
oh, Twilight?
Bro, what? I love Twilight.
Well, Twilight's
bro,
kind of that's kind of like in
Twilight
between only because it is a. I feel like it kind of has a
bro.
It has an even romantic theme throughout it.
Bro, I love Twilight.
But I feel like
cute,
it's
bro.
not. You said it's cute.
It's pretty cute, bro.
It is real. Look,
but like maybe not Twilight, but like just like
more. I thought you were still talking about the Notebook. I could have agreed more with the Notebook.
But like
Twilight's
just
more
like
of
chick
sci-fi.
flicks in general. So that's alright, cool. But like so like say like you come over and then you put on
Mean Girls is a chick flick, but I would watch Mean Girls every day if I had to.
Mean Girls is.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna just like.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
We're just bagging on Nick right now.
No. Look, it's like, hey, come over, bring a bottle of wine. We're gonna sit here. We're gonna watch The Notebook.
Yeah.
I understand.
Nick, don't forget the beers.
No, literally, no, not beers. Wine.
Wine? Oh, okay.
Not even wine coolers.
You guys are tripping. Now,
wine cooler.
I'm gonna be like, yo, you guys are tripping. But like, some of these, there's some good movies though.
No, yeah,
there's some really good. But like, it's like one of those like when you're going to bed, you're not just gonna naturally turn those on.
Definitely not.
Nah, I don't even.
I definitely get what you're saying.
Genre of movie in and of itself, like romantic movies.
No, I love romantic.
Not on purpose. I mean, I don't dislike them. It's not I wouldn't watch them, but I can't.
I'm
say
corny though, so I get it.
Oh, like I can't even think of what's a romantic movie that's come out in the last however long. Nothing. I feel like they don't even give a fuck about romance anymore. Everybody's just like
sci-fi action.
No, see, they need to put more of that stuff out now because everything's shutting back down again. So people are by themselves again. Like
there's a lot of quarantine.
No.
A lot of people had a lot of babies this year.
If you put out some romance shit, motherfuckers about to be sad as fuck alone in their apartment.
Nah, the only thing that's been making me sad this year, as far as that, and it's been bringing me a lot of self-awareness, is Netflix really been having their necks on like the political justice system in a sense, like with all of these black documentaries talking about all of these injustices that black men, black people in general have faced, has very much so made me self-aware and just very not only self-aware but I also want to say, and not in the general sense of how you would mean self-conscious, but it gave me a consciousness within myself that was kind of like, things were worse than the fuck I thought they were. Like, it really just had me like, wow, like, when a person, you know how a person can kind of just make everything seem shitty? Like, I feel like in reality, anybody could hate a person like that. But I feel like my self-awareness this year has brought me to a level of feeling like a lot of things really are shitty. And I feel like what really makes people mad is the fact that they acknowledge that things are shitty, but they rather not acknowledge it. So when you acknowledge that the world is shitty, they're like, fuck you. And that's been my conclusion so far. Like I've brung it down to the fact that it's like other people know things are shitty. They just don't want you when they're in their bubble to come in their bubble and be like, it's really shitty out there.
See, I feel like the world definitely has its shitty parts, but I feel like there definitely is still a lot of things that the world has to offer.
Oh, but like that are not shitty.
Basically. Yeah. That are not shitty at all. I feel like it literally comes down to like even just like basic things. At least for me personally, I guess.
Right.
I should say, because like literally, like for me, I could look at like a Grand Canyon or like even like Niagara Falls now recently, because like I didn't feel like this before, but like literally since like 2020, like literally I can literally just look at stuff like that. And recently when I went to Ellicottville and like Letchworth and shit, I could literally look at those places and truly feel so grateful to just like even just look at that and be like, this is beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I can't believe I take this shit for granted. Because like nah, bro.
No,
it's real though.
It's beautiful.
No, because it's just like real.
I think I'm talking more of the non-passive things, because you're right. I don't take for granted any of this natural stuff. And speaking of the falls, the fact that you remember, that's my favorite place personally.
Yeah, I know. I know you go there.
Water. I think water is like obviously one of the scariest things that we know to us, like next to fire, of course, and things like that. But for me, water, when what the fall symbolizes to me is just like when you look at the overflowing and you look at the constant and it's just
beautiful
going
chaos.
and going and going. At the end of the day, it's beautiful chaos, but it just goes to show you that shit's gonna happen. It's gonna move and it's gonna keep flowing. And that's just like a philosophy to keep in life. Like regardless, like
it's gonna keep going regardless.
It's gonna move on. Pick yourself up. Like keep going. Like
keep going.
Why do you think people are so drawn to water? Why do you think humans in general, like
I think
you go to the why is it so? Like humans go to the beach all the time because that's just like the greatest time, or we go to the falls to just be like water. You go down to the lake, water. Someone has a boat, and then everyone's like, I want to be on the boat because I want to be on the water. Why do you think humans in general are just like so drawn to water?
If I have to give my thought process, I feel like what we know in science, right? We're mostly made of water, like on the inside, right? So if we break it down to just like a kind of like on a needed level, like SpongeBob, we fucking need water. That's just the one thing. 2,
water. That's what I was thinking,
right? So I think that on a natural level, humans had to be drawn like to areas that have water. Like at the end of the day, any civilization that's been built smartly, they try to do it near water because there's a recognition that we need this.
Yes.
It's
before
inside
it was
of
for
us.
like to drink, crops,
wash, whatever.
But I mean, in today's age, like we have the sink.
And so this is my next thing. I think, and this is me tapping into my own what I feel about water. It becomes an extension, because at the end of the day, you look at certain things that people do in water, like you look at people who are surfers, they seem very spiritual about their surfing, you know what I mean? And even me, a person who I love to go to the falls and just stand there and watch the water, look at the water, hear the water. What's people's favorite things to do? It seems like when they go to the beach, they find a shell and they want to hear the ocean. I just feel like you can't necessarily pinpoint it, but I feel like
there's something mystique about it.
Yeah, there's something natural that draws you to water, because unlike fire, right? Even though fire is something that burns, and we know that fire can also give life, we know that fire is something that can be very, very destructive. You don't necessarily, I mean, you water your plants, you know what I mean? You plant a seed and you water it in order for it to grow.
Water is refreshing.
Yes. So innately, I just think that people are drawn to water, whereas like they're not necessarily going to, of course people would love to go be like, oh my god, a volcano, but you're not going to go
build your house next to a volcano.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, people do, but they really didn't have no choice in a sense. They're on that island, so that's where you gotta live.
Up and you said ocean.
And you know what I'm saying? So I
kids gotta go.
I think that water and this is the only way that I can explain it is in a spiritual sense. I think water is an extension of life. Just like a lot of things in nature, of course, in your senses, but water is one of those things that we have a close relationship with, and with anything, it has a mysteriousness to it. We don't even know still. Like,
I think we've only explored like
10% of the ocean, 20%.
Not even that.
So
we don't know what's at the bottom of like half that shit because
we can't get there. One day we will, but that just goes to show you, like, for all we fucking know, it's Atlantis is down there. Yeah. There's merman people living down there, right now somewhere off the coast. We don't know. Loch Ness Monster. Because we do know, at the end of the day, those fishermen who wrote those books and did that, things used to just be giant, just naturally. So it's not even that they were necessarily monsters. It's just that when you look at like today's crocodile versus like a crocodile back in those days, this shit's like a goddamn elephant.
Fucking, what we would say a dinosaur.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they are descendants of dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
They just shrunk, I guess. Whatever you
probably
want to
because
say.
of us.
If you believe in the whole evolution thing.
We're going back to self-awareness now. So how do we describe ourselves? Like if someone.
That's a good question.
It's kind of hard to like describe yourself, because you're like I guess what would be easier if someone else described you, if we described each other.
When you're framing this, because I was gonna say, like, if you're asking in the sense of like how self-aware, is that what you mean? Like if you feel as though you are a self-aware person, then?
Yeah, but like how would you describe yourself? Because I mean, like it is self-awareness.
Like as a person?
Like, yeah.
Oh, I would say that I'm just very outspoken. as an individual. I feel like
I feel like you're very spoken.
I mean, at the end of the day, I would say on a simple level, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and I mean, throughout the years that's changed. I used to feel like I had to, and other people probably wouldn't even agree. I used to feel like I had to censor some of the things that I would say, shockingly enough. But now it's gotten to the point where it's not I'm not censoring myself. It's just that I don't care to let people know that I'm smarter than them anymore. Because really, that's really what it was. At least in younger years, it's a matter of, it's just like, I have this point to make. I know that I can make this point, so I'm going to make the point. And now it's just like, especially with events that's happened in 2020, me more specifically being a black man, I don't give a fuck. I'm not finna argue with you hoe ass niggas. Because a lot of the times I feel like, at least this year, and I'm happy that you asked this question, the type of person that I am has changed in the past year. And that's just the truth of the matter. Even in answering this question, even in saying that I'm outspoken, I would have probably tried to frame it another way to not make myself seem like, however that could seem when you say that you're outspoken. People think you're a certain type of way, whatever the fuck that means. So I've come to the realization that I'm the type of person that just no longer cares about, and what we're talking about, self-awareness. I don't care about what other people feel anymore, because I've realized it's about what I feel. It's about, how is my life going? How do I feel about myself? How are other people making me feel? And in return, you're able to still be a good person, because if everything's adding up, if the people in your life are treating you right, you're going to reciprocate that energy.
I feel like it comes with a double-sided blade, though. So, like,
how so?
If you say, like, well, I don't really care what anyone thinks about me, I know how I care about me. So, like, say, like, you out here acting wild, and you're like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says about me, I'm me. But if I'm just like, yo, bro, like, you're kind of being a dick.
But see, and you know the thing about it is, you're not wrong, but you have to accept that reality. And that's just like, obviously you're framing it in a certain way, and I understand that. So I would say, for me, it would just be a matter of looking at the reality of things, right? It's like, what's being a dick? I've come to the realization myself that it's whatever somebody else says it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a range for anything, right? Somebody could say you're being a dick for something that another person wouldn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? And so my point in saying that is, it's just like, whether I'm being not a dick, right? To the word that you used, or if I'm being PC, somebody is going to have a problem with it. Like, that's just what I feel like I've realized. So I rather now at this point do exactly what it is that I wanted to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that something is being said. That might mean that I'm not saying anything to you. That might mean I'm not engaging with you at all. And a lot of the times, at least now, recently, that's what it is. It's not me having anything to say. It's me really just seeing you for what you are and be like, what is there to say? Because I've come to the realization, you know, right? We'll speak in reality. Look, 72 million people voted for Donald Trump, right? You're not going to unconvince people who are convinced that an election that was fairly won is stolen, you know, X, Y, and Z. So it's just like, I'm not going to play myself to be a fool. And to your point, I get what you're saying about, you know, it really goes into being self-aware, right? Like, not putting yourself in a position to seem like an asshole and you're, you know, uncaring about. But it's really not that, because at the end of the day, it is whatever we make it. You know what I'm saying? People are going to decide for you what type of person you're being. So I rather just be what I know I'm being.
I mean, it's I get it, because I'm the same way. I'm just like not caring really what opinions people have, but being open to like corrective criticism. So like, do I give a fuck if someone likes my pants? No. Don't give a fuck.
Look, definitely.
Like, if I say a joke and someone doesn't find it funny, don't fucking care. But if I'm acting a certain way and someone's just like, hey Nick, you know, like, I see you acting this way, yada yada yada.
Let me pose a question to you.
And I think that yada yada. Like if you give me like some sort of like corrective criticism, like I'll take that in and I'll understand. I'm not just gonna be like, fuck you, man. I don't give a fuck.
No, and you should never be like that. I think that's
I'm my own person.
A very, to your point, a dickheaded thing to do. But let me ask you this question, and to my point, that's all up to interpretation, right? Because what is constructive criticism? Because
it's an opinion.
But okay, right. But a lot of people will, at least in the way that you're framing this constructive criticism, you're framing it in a way that you're getting this constructive criticism, at least because you probably needed it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like where I would disagree is that people are not necessarily always giving you constructive criticism because you're doing something that's disagreeable. They just disagree with what you're doing, right? So if you're a person that is in any form or fashion in your life, right, doing something that somebody else does not like or thinks is distasteful, right, at the end of the day, if they decide, that's that, then it's going to be that. But for you, it's not. It doesn't have to be that. For you, whatever the case may be, whether you're speaking your mind, using your platform, selling a product, doing something that, I don't know, just rub somebody else the wrong way, they're gonna be like, I don't think you should be doing that. So that's why I just feel like you're not wrong, but with that, you have to look at people's motives. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't necessarily want good for you. Everybody doesn't necessarily want you
that's why you just gotta take everything with like a grain of salt. Like, so like the one big thing that like I think that I like hold for myself is like I'm a great listener. I listen to every single word everybody has to say, and I take like what your thoughts are, and I try to make my own out of it. So like, but then I also take everything with like a grain of sand.
Right.
So like obviously, I have my thoughts, you have your thoughts, and maybe you could change my thought. I'm not so stuck in my own ways to where I'm just like, nope, this is how it is, and that's how it's gonna be because it's me. But like, because if you come to me with something like, no, this is what I believe, and this is why you should believe it, then I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt though, because I'm not gonna just like even if you like Hitler was a great guy. And here's why he was a great guy. And you send me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to be like, yeah, you're kind of on some shit. But like, I'm going to be like, he did. Obviously, Hitler was a terrible guy.
Look, that's the type of thing where you do say something to somebody. Did he
possibly do something that was good? Maybe. He might have done some great things to some people, but like obviously,
he definitely just like Donald Trump to 72 million people,
and form my own opinion about it, and that's how I'll move. But I'm not gonna just be stuck in my own like ways of just like.
But do you realize the things that people tell you, like when you actually look at the things that people say to you are like distasteful, it really never has anything to do like. Yeah, we could talk about people who are just straight up assholes. Okay, right. No. I feel like those are the outliers. When people are really on you about something, it's little shit. You talk too much, or you shouldn't necessarily say those things in this space. When you look at that, and those to me are the majority of times when people have critiques for you. Mm-hmm. It's about controlling you. It's about you behaving. It's about you fitting into a status quo a lot of the times, right? Mm-hmm. And if I can speak to it from my own perspective, being like, bitch, please. I'm over that. I used to do that a lot. I look at the fact that I went to a predominantly white high school. I look at the fact that it took for 2020 to come around and for me to finally connect and use words with the other black students that I knew existed in school but would not dare associate with. Not because anything was wrong with them, but because my proximity to blackness in an all-white school made me a little too dark. So I'm not going to, because at least for me, what my reality is, I feel like it's usually on the behavioral tip. It's usually because you don't want to disturb. It's not because you are actually doing something that is distasteful. It's just that what you're doing just might rub the wrong person the wrong way. It's not as you're doing something to offend the masses or you're doing something overtly offensive. It's like you're being a loud black person right now, or you're being aggressive, or like you're. I mean, at the end of the day, or why are you sagging? Why are your clothes fitting like this? Why are they baggy? Why are they tight? Why are they whatever? Why are you wearing a cardigan? That's gay. Like,
you know how many times I've been ripped on for wearing skinny jeans? They're just like, oh, your jeans are pretty tight. You and your skinny jeans. Like, man, I don't give a fuck.
But I mean,
what the fuck are you?
But that's designed. I mean, at the end of the day, though, people have to realize, and this is just me. I don't expect, and this is what you're saying. Like, I say a grain of salt. You said a grain of sand. Tomato. But it's just like taking anything with a grain of salt. Apparently, people, I guess. Look, what else did they say? What, I don't even know. But anyways, taking anything with a grain of salt, I just feel like people need to really challenge themselves with how you're saying. You're already on a level of this because you're saying, you know, I really listen to what people say, and I'm really seeing past what they're saying to try and understand the intent. Okay, if you're at that level, go past that level, because the truth of the matter is, right, okay, you know how they say, you know, a person tells a joke, there's always a little bit of truth in the joke. They say that for a reason. I need people to start understanding that people say things for a reason. They don't just open up their mouth, right, and speak words, whether it's joking, whether it's to create something, right? And I feel like as human beings, our self-awareness around those things is very low because society creates it in such a way to where, like, oh, you shouldn't really pay that any attention. Like, they create it in such a way where, like, you make yourself feel like you're blowing something out of proportion. And so instead of calling it it's not an it. It's like, you know, I was tripping. No. I used to say a lot of the times, no, maybe I'm tripping. Like, that was one of the things, like, when you feel like you're saying something constantly. Before 2020, I always felt like, damn, maybe I'm tripping. Nah, maybe I'm tripping. Nah, maybe I'm tripping. I stopped saying that. Because in 2020, what I realized is all the shit that I thought I was tripping about. Nah, nigga, you weren't tripping. You were spot on. And I would have saved myself a lot of time and energy if I would have just called it it. I feel like people feel like when they put a name on something, one, it becomes very final. And I feel like people get scared of things. Like, they actually are afraid of knowing. And I'll put this in the frame of when they talk about racism in this country. They don't want to call racism. Like, they want to call it everything. Oh, you're bigoted, or oh, you have a bias, or just say it. Wait, what the fuck? Same thing with Trumpism, right? Because that's a thing now. It's Trumpism. Just say you don't like a certain type of people. Why do you feel the need to be like, I voted because, you know, I needed more money in my pocket? No, you don't like the blacks and the Mexicans, whatever it is, whoever you don't like. But society has created it in such a way that it's offensive. But what are we, you know, sacrificing in that? The truth. Because now, like, what it creates these facades. It creates, obviously, we have people that can, and this is my thing, which is why I feel like it's very powerful. Those people believe that, and that's another reason why I think that it's on you as the person, one, how we're talking about, to be self-aware and to no longer care, because at the end of the day, it's set up in a way for you to, by default, if you're a certain type of a person, you're just going to fall into a certain way of thinking. And unless you have the self-awareness enough, I feel like, sitting here with you two, we're three people, I feel like you have to reach a level of self-awareness to even have these conversations, to be like, maybe we are in a matrix of sorts where we're being pre-thought or pre-felt out that way. We're being made to feel that.
And to, like, bring it back to, like, the question that then Nick asked, how would you pretty much sum up who you are as of now, like, currently today? Because like, well, what was the question that you asked?
Basically that.
Black Panther. No, really.
All right.
I feel like I'm a soldier right now. Like, I have a motive. Anytime I'm speaking to you guys, anytime I'm having a conversation with anybody this year, I'm very decisive in the way that I'm speaking. I'm saying the things that I'm saying for a reason. I'm not just saying it because I think it sounds nice.
Very vocal about all your beliefs lately.
So it's not because I want attention. No, I hear this. I feel like, because my belief is that people are just really jaded. Like, And it's because of this thing that I talk about before. It's just about giving people the benefit of the doubt. Why? Why? I'm just very questionable. I just ask a lot of questions this year. And it's not that I'm saying you shouldn't, but what I'm saying is, okay, they say, okay, give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, maybe they didn't vote for Trump for blah, blah, blah reasons. Give them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like that's really a lot of the times what people ask, why, though? And when I started asking myself why, it never has anything to do with you, the person asking the questions or bringing the issue. It has to do with the comfortability of the other people around you or the person asking you to, just take it easy. Don't necessarily call that bad.
I like asking why on certain things, though.
You should always ask why, but I feel like the majority of people, though, and we might be able to agree with this because y'all ask why, they don't ask why.
Self-awareness.
And I feel like we find that in Trumpism. They don't ask why. They said Trump said this. And so it was. There's no why. It is to them.
How would you say, and what would you say that about yourself?
About myself?
Yeah. Describe yourself.
Describe myself. As I said, I love listening to every word every person has to say, just because I love taking little bits and forming my own opinion of little things, and like getting to know that person and knowing where they come from. Also, I don't fuck with drama. I don't fuck with like a lot of people always say that. First of all, everyone always is gonna say, "Oh, I don't like drama," but we all know that one motherfucker that's always has the drama around. It's just like, what the fuck? But like, when it comes to like talking shit about people, like when was the last time you ever heard me talk shit?
No, yeah.
I mean, I have jokes. Everybody has jokes, but also going back to like the good jokes contain true shit. But like most of my shit really are just jokes. I find a lot of things funny. But like.
Nah, nigga.
I mean, even if it is like a little stab, it's not. I mean, it's not like.
But that's I was talking
normal.
There's extremes to anything.
That's normal. That's normal. I don't know. I just don't like.
Look, it's okay to dislike people.
100%.
Ooh! I'm so happy that you said that, because this just goes into again my thought process. People want to act like they like you, or act like they are okay with things, or act like things they don't agree with is cool. Yeah. Nah, say you don't like that. Say that shit is whack. And your hairline is whack.
And we'll come back. And we'll like come back to that. Just to describe myself, honestly, it's just like outgoing, just open-minded. At this point, I feel like I'm very like what's the word? Like, I try to really pick up on people's energy. I'm very like energy. Yeah, like I try to really feel out people's energy, because I hate being around people feeling like I can't like be myself. You know. So, but yeah, honestly, that's pretty much it. Honestly, just like outgoing, open-minded, very big on energy right now. I'm trying to just like keep it short.
I'm big on telling you motherfuckers.
So we can go back to like what we said about liking.
Here's going against everything. So since we are talking about self-awareness, what is something that you think you need to work on?
Oh, I feel like I need to work on a lot. Honestly, I need to work. I need to work on a lot. I need to.
I'm such a fire sign. I have to kill myself.
I'm dead. But no, there's definitely a lot I need to work on. I need to work on. I feel like I could be a lot more patient. I need to be a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I need to execute. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I do a lot of research and stuff on a lot of things, but then I don't actually execute. So I feel like I need to be more. I need to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to really go against the grain with like, I feel like almost everything I feel like as of late I've really been like, if my opinion is on this side, I always make it a point to now purposely look at the other side, just because. And I'm just like, all right, well, let me just look at why they feel like this, and just try to be more objective. You know, try to be have more perspective, be more just like aware, period. Whether it be just like within about myself, my surroundings,
the period has me.
Like, you know, just like the people who I surround myself around, you know, just everything, man. I feel like I'm just my spidey senses be tingling a lot, you know.
I feel that.
It's just like a lot. I feel like I'm just like, honestly, I feel like I've just been like on edge almost. So I'm trying to just like mellow out as well. You know, I feel like a lot of people are on edge because of what's going on. You know, but
dude, suicide rates are like skyrocketing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough time for everyone, but like more for other people. You know. Mm-hmm. So definitely, all of those things. I feel.
Yeah, everyone's gotta remember, like everyone has bad days.
Yeah.
Everyone has bad days.
Everybody has a bad day.
What about you? What do you think you need to fix?
Not fix, you know, but just like
kind of work on.
Yeah.
Well, fix tomato.
One says fucking tomato.
Somebody says tomato, or that saying would not exist. Some asshole somewhere.
Like potato. Who the fuck?
Oh yeah, potato. Yeah, that's what the other one.
Potato. Who the fuck says potato?
The same asshole that says tomato. It's probably the person that's milk. That's those people.
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
You know what? Because I say both, and when someone asks me that, I'm one of those people, like when you ask me a question like that, I can't decide which one I would normally say. Because I know that I've said both. Caribbean or Caribbean. I feel like I'd be more likely to say Caribbean than Caribbean. But I know I've used both.
Yeah, I feel like I'll say
when you're watching the movie, Pirates of the
Caribbean. Yeah.
But if I go on vacation, I'm going to the
Caribbean.
See, I've never even seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
No?
I missed
Caribbean, bro. Shut up.
My mom didn't even allow me to watch Harry Potter. She was like, it's the devil, so she said no. And she definitely did not like pirates because like the skulls and crossbones. She wouldn't even buy me clothes with like skulls or snakes or stuff on it.
Yeah. One thing I need to work on. What do I need to work on?
See, isn't it hard when you're perfect?
It is.
No.
I'm fucking stunning.
Aren't you just perfect? It's like that Squidward, that episode of SpongeBob when he was beautiful.
I had the thought on my head. I kind of lost it, but one thing that I need to work on, I think not having as many like not falling for distractions. Because I like a lot of times, like you said, like, you know, you start working on something and then, you know, something happens. Whether it's life happens, whether there's another interest in mine too, and because like I'm always moving, I'm always trying different things, trying doing this, trying doing that, and then like those are all distractions from like my main goal that I have set ahead. So I think not falling for distractions.
That's huge. Yeah, definitely. That's like, I'm good.
Nah, it's not even that I feel like that. You know,
just like, I just need to get big.
Nah, you know, this is really how I feel, bruh. I feel like I'm even going back to who I feel like. I feel like I'm Malcolm X this year, with, you know, a little bit of Martin Luther King Jr. before he died. And I say that to say, I feel like if I'm working anything, because the things that I feel like I needed to work on, right, and this is like personal stuff, obviously, I feel like for me that was like just being honest with myself, and I feel like I've done that this year, and that really necessarily meant like the stuff that we're talking about throughout this conversation, like making yourself feel okay in situations where you're really not okay with. Like, I'm the type of person, and I can say this because y'all would not know this, but because I guess I'm the friend that's like the outspoken friend, or like the friend that has this certain bravado. It's like I find myself in situations a lot of the times where I'm just like, I don't like this shit. This is whack. But a lot of the times I won't say anything. I won't like whatever. I'm just here floating. So I feel like me this year has really just been being honest with the fact that it's just like some shit just ain't for me, dog. It's just not for me. Whether there's people, places, spaces, or things.
Yo, facts.
It ain't for me. And I've come to the realization about which
pussies. It's just ain't for me, dog.
it And even tying to what you said. No, look.
I was just about to say, just
tying to what you said about not liking people,
I was just about to say, it's a perfect transition into that.
Like, yeah. I don't know why. I've never been this person though. The other half, yes, but I've never been the type of person to been like, oh, like I'm gonna act like I like a person, or I've always fucking hated that shit. And it's because of the fact that I just have never understood maintaining a falsity in such a way. If you don't like something, say you don't like it. It doesn't even have to be people. But if you don't like whatever,
food,
say it.
Anything.
It doesn't matter. Say it. I'll never forget. This is a perfect example in high school. Telling somebody, I forget who it was, but it was a person that I was like, had no problem with. But we were in a group, somebody was saying something, they kept referring back to me in the situations about me being their friend. I was like, I'm not your friend. And I was like, I said it basically like that, and I'm just like, we're not friends. I'm like, we cool, I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation after this, because they could not wrap their head around the fact that I was saying to them I didn't have any problems with them, there was no issues, but we're not friends. And I'm like, this is the problem. Like,
you don't know what a real friend is.
Like, at the end of the day, like, nigga, you sit here next to me in this class and we have a couple, like, we're not, this doesn't mean that we're friends. Like, it goes past that. And even if it doesn't go past that, it's just a matter of if I want to be friends with you. Yeah. So if I'm not even reciprocating the energy that you're putting out, no, it's not that. And I think that people, again, this goes back to calling it's an it. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be on some race-based shit. It's just a matter of, I don't like the way that you act. I don't like the way that you talk. I don't like the way that you look. People are real scared to say some shit like that. Bitch, you're ugly.
Well, I mean, I think we've been going for a decent amount of time now. I think we can close it out.
No, yeah, definitely. It's been a minute for sure. It's been a minute.
That's so scripted. Honestly, you turned the camera off.
Our self-awareness has led us to the end of this film.
Yes, we will continue this conversation off camera.
Basically.
Pretty much.
With the rest of the tequila.
Just be love yourself. I mean, there's a lot of influence on
know yourself.
Know yourself.
Definitely
love yourself. I mean, there's a lot of things out there spoiling your mind. So I mean, I just think you need to know who you are as a person.
Yes.
And
ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask questions, man.
Please, let me add mobile 2 cents. For the love of God, I'll echo what they said. Ask questions, people.
Yeah.
If I could say one thing, ask questions.
Definitely.
Thanks for watching.
Dudes being guys.
Dudes being guys.
Yeah, it's been lit.
3 dudes being guys.
And we're gonna hopefully keep this up for a minute. So yeah, stay tuned.
All right,
peace.
Gang, I'm not affiliated though.